Hi, in this video we're going to review the Hoover ONEPWR Evolve cordless vacuum cleaner, and that's this guy right here. Now there's also a Hoover ONEPWR Evolve Pet, and it has a couple of extra features over the Evolve, but I believe it's essentially the same vacuum cleaner. Now, what do you get when you buy one of these things? Well, we've got it laid out here, and as you can see, it's a pretty sparse package. You get the vacuum cleaner, you've got a couple of filters that come installed in the machine. This is your battery. Now the battery actually slides onto the back here, but we've got it down here so you can see it. You get a charger, you get a little bit of literature, you've got a manual and a very small quick start guide. And one of the things you can see is that there are no tools. Let's take a quick look at the vacuum controls. You've got a large on-off button here. Now that turns the vacuum on and off. Got a mode button, and that cycles between hard floor carpet and brush roll off mode. Now hard floor mode means your brush roll is spinning slowly and you have low suction. You move to carpet mode, the brush roll spins much faster and you have high suction. Then when you go to brush roll off mode, well, it turns the brush roll off and it maintains high suction. As mentioned, this is a cordless vacuum cleaner, and as such it has a battery. This is a lithium ion battery, and that's the kind of battery we see on a lot of cordless units today. We also call this a swappable battery, and that means it can be removed and reattached. In this case, we've got a couple of little buttons here you press in, and the battery comes right off. Now, the great thing about a swappable battery is if you have two of them, well, when one is depleted, you can pick up the other one that's hopefully been on charge and pop it back on the machine and continue vacuuming, and that will effectively double your run time. Now, the Hoover ONEPWR Evolve, it only comes with one battery, but they've got kind of a different idea. There is a group of Hoover ONEPWR products that includes stick vacs, I think uprights, handheld vacuums, leaf blowers, a flashlight, even I think a wet-dry utility vac. They all use the same battery, so if you happen to have one of those other Hoover ONEPWR products, well, you've got a second battery, and you could use that with this Evolve and double your runtime. Kind of interesting. Now, you have to take this vacuum off, you have to take this battery off the vacuum in order to recharge it, because this is the recharge unit here. You can't attach that to the vacuum in any way, and that slides in. And a recharge on this, when it's fully depleted, takes maybe 3 to 4 hours. The cleaner head on the Evolve is very straightforward, nothing fancy. You've got your basic brush roll with the bristles. You've got a couple of wheels on the front of this thing, and you've got a couple of larger wheels on the back. Now, because it is so straightforward and it has nothing like a anti-tangle technology, you will find the need to clean this off, especially if you've got hair and stuff in the house. Now, fortunately, they have made that easy. I'm going to turn this to the side, and I think you can see here, it's a little device for pulling out the brush roll. We just push this down, and the whole brush roll pulls right out for easy cleaning. There's even some grooves here if you need to get a pair of scissors or something in there. And to put it back, do that. There's a little kind of a arrow here that has to go to the unlocked area. And there it is. Push it in, and then you tighten that up, and it's locked back in place. We read of some instances where owners were saying the machine had a tendency to bog down on a deeper pile carpet. And when I say bog down, I mean that the brush roll started to spin much slower, and in some cases would even stop. Now that's due to all the additional resistance you get on a deep pile carpet. So to test that, we took the unit and put it on a very deep pile carpet that we have here, and we found that it actually ran okay. Take a look at the clip. In terms of weight, the Evolve weighs about 8.5 pounds. And whether you find that heavy or light kind of depends on your perspective, It's kind of a stick vac, and it looks a little like an upright as well. So You know, if you're used to really light stick vacuums like the pink unit there, that's the Dyson V7. Your V7s, V8s tend to be kind of lightweight. That one weighs about 5.5 pounds. If you're used to that, this is going to maybe feel a little bit on the heavy side. But if you're coming from full-size upright, the unit at the end, that's the Shark Vertex, fairly popular machine. We've weighed that at 16.7 pounds. You know, a lot of uprights, 13 to 17. There's a few outliers there, of course, but they're often in that range. If you're coming from something like that, well, this is going to feel really lightweight. The dust canister capacity in the Evolve is about 1 liter. We think that's a reasonable size given the small size of the vacuum. You shouldn't find yourself having to empty it too frequently. Now, we've put up 3 other cordless stick vacs here just so we could compare dust canister size. This is the Dyson V15. Dust canister there is 0.76 liters, so it is smaller than the Evolve. Beside that, the pink unit, the Dyson V7, 0.53 liters, and at the far end, that green unit there, the Shark Rocket Pro, 0.32 liters, so quite a bit smaller than the Evolve. Now the dust canister here comes off pretty easy. Just press this button down, comes out. To empty it, press the button here, bottom door opens up. Sometimes you may have to put your hand in and pull some of the debris out, especially if you've picked up a fair bit of hair. That's pretty normal for these bagless machines. Close it up manually. You just have to align things carefully to put it back in, and it clicks into place. Given that this is a cordless vacuum cleaner, you're probably going to want to know what kind of run times you're going to get. And you know, that's really a function of the floor surface you're on and the mode that you're in. So we did a group of tests. We've got the results here in this table. What we did was to make sure that the battery was fully charged, put the vacuum on one of the 2 surfaces, ran the vacuum, and using a stopwatch recorded just how long it took until the vacuum stopped. Now let's take a look at the results. The carpet here is medium pile carpet. Hard floor we used was tile. Carpet mode on carpet, 12 minutes and 4 seconds. Maybe a little bit short in our opinion. Carpet mode on hard floor, well, we didn't do that test because you don't really want a rapidly spinning brush roll on your hard floor. Hard floor mode in carpet, we did that test because hard floor mode, you know, a slower spinning brush roll with low suction, no reason you couldn't run that on your carpet. So we did 27 minutes and 5 seconds, not too bad. Hard floor mode on hard floor, 31 minutes 53 seconds, fairly reasonable. Brush roll off mode on carpet, well, you're not going to run the unit with a brush roll not spinning on carpet, so we didn't do that. Brush roll off mode on a hard floor, 18 minutes 52 seconds, not too bad. So, you know, on hard floor mode, carpet and hard floor, kind of reasonable. Carpet mode on carpet, maybe a little bit short in our opinion. Just a quick aside, when we're doing our runtime tests, we did notice that the motor in the cleaner head tended to heat up a fair bit. You could really feel it were you to put your hand on the cleaner head. In addition, it had a bit of a high whine to it, and we could even smell it a little bit. Now, having said all that, we've used the machine after doing our runtime tests, and everything runs fine. It's just that it wasn't something we commonly run into. The vacuum moves fairly well on a hard surface. Of course, back and forth, pretty straightforward. Turns fairly well. Doesn't turn that sharp. I mean, that's really the maximum, but still works fairly well here. Now I'm going to turn the vacuum on in hard floor mode, and we'll do the same thing. So maneuverability in hard floor mode, pretty good. Maneuverability on carpet is okay. Certainly with the machine off, it feels very smooth. Turns very easily with a twist of the wrist like this. But with the unit on, it's a little bit tougher. You can feel like you have to push it a little harder. I'll turn it on now, put it in carpet mode. It's okay. When you turn it, especially if you're turning it sharply, you do feel like you have to push it maybe a little harder than expected. Overall, I'd actually call it kind of average movement on carpet. The vacuum has two filters, which are pretty easy to access. They're right here at the top of the dust canister, so I'm going to take the dust canister out. Little button here, and your filters around the lid here. You've got this foam filter here that comes out. It's rinsable in water. Got a felt filter. You can clean this one too if you want to. Now the thing, of course, is if you're going to wash these or rinse them in water, you want to make sure they are completely dry before you put them back in. And neither of these is HEPA level, so that's something to know. It goes back together pretty easy, and then you just put the dust canister back in. That's it. We performed some cleaning tests on the vacuum. We created our own debris. We used chili flakes, flax seeds, and split green peas. We very carefully weighed an amount of each one of those things and then put them all together to create our debris. On the carpet test, we used this low pile carpet, put the debris down in about a 5-foot long line and passed the vacuum over it once in carpet mode. And then we did the same test on tile. On tile, we used hard floor mode and brush roll off mode. Now we're going to show you those tests in a couple of clips, then we're going to talk about them. The cleaning test on carpet gave us 98.4% pickup. That's actually pretty good. You know, we've done these tests on plenty of vacuum cleaners. We've seen some in the low 90s. We've seen a few over 99%, but 98.4 is actually pretty good. On the hard floor and hard floor mode, that's the one with the brush roll spinning slowly and low suction, we got 96.5%. Fairly average. But you know, when we went to the brush roll off mode, that's the one that has maximum suction. Well, that actually, the pickup got bumped up to 98.5%, which is fairly decent. We performed an edge cleaning test on the vacuum, and to do that we take chili flakes and put them up tight against the baseboard. And we run the vacuum forward one pass and then backwards one pass. Then we look to see just how much of those chili flakes it's picked up right tight against the edge. Let's take a look at the test. I think you could see in that test that there were still quite a few chili flakes left up tight against the edge. Overall, I'd say that was a, lower than average to average result. Earlier, when I mentioned the cleaner head, I also highlighted that it does not have any anti-tangle technology. So I wanted to see just how well it would work on hair. So we put down long black human hair and short white pet hair, and we ran this vacuum over it. And to provide a comparison, we also ran the Shark Rocket that does have anti-tangle technology. Let's take a look at that test. While the Hoover picked up all the hair, I think you could see there was quite a bit left on the brush roll. You'd probably have to take that brush roll off and clean it out. Now, the Shark, on the other hand, with its anti-tangle technology, it still picked up the hair quite well, but it didn't leave as much on the brush roll. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than the Hoover. We performed some noise level tests on the Hoover Evolve. We have a digital noise level meter that records decibels. Now, we put it 3 feet in front of the cleaner head of the vacuum cleaner, and with the vacuum on over a 10-second period, we recorded peak decibels. Now, I've got a couple of other cordless units here. At the end, the green one, the Shark Rocket Pro, that tends to be pretty loud. And this Tinico Pure One S12, well, that tends to be pretty quiet. So I'm just going to use those to provide a level of comparison to the Hoover Evolve. So let's first look at the Tinico, this black and white unit. In low power mode, 61.1 decibels. The Shark Rocket Pro at the end, low power mode, 74.2 decibels. Quite a bit louder. Hoover Evolve, 73.2 decibels. So definitely on the louder end of the scale, maybe not quite as loud as the Shark, but pretty close. Now when I say low power mode for this one, well, that is hard floor mode. That's where your brush roll is spinning the slowest and you've got the lowest suction. How about maximum power? Well, Tinico, 66.7 decibels. Shark, 75.1 decibels. Hoover Evolve, 78.3 decibels. So it's even louder than the Shark Rocket Pro at the end. And max mode for this, well, we consider that carpet mode where the brush roll is spinning the fastest and the suction is on maximum. Now, this actually happens to be the loudest cordless vacuum in max mode that we've tested to date. Now, just because it's the loudest cordless we've tested to date doesn't mean it's intolerable or anything like that. There are definitely louder uprights that we have worked with, but it does tend to be a little loud perhaps for a cordless machine. So what about fit, finish, and build? Well, it's not a particularly expensive machine, so you're not expecting premium quality. I don't know, it feels a little plasticky. I don't know about longevity of something like this, but you know, just today when we were putting this video together, I did notice 4 pieces of metal come out of the cleaner head that look like part of a weld or a solder or something like that. It hasn't impacted performance, at least not yet, but it is a little disconcerting. This is a fairly inexpensive cordless vacuum cleaner, and it's not too heavy if you're coming from the perspective of full-size uprights. Cleaning performance on carpet and bare floors is actually pretty reasonable, not too bad. Now, this wouldn't be a great choice if you have a home with pets, you don't have a HEPA filter, and the brush roll does tend to get tangled with hair. There is no anti-tangle technology. Runtime on carpet, definitely a little bit short, certainly in carpet mode. We did find you could run the machine in hard floor mode on carpet. Not an unreasonable thing to do, and that definitely bumped the runtime up. Runtime in hard floor mode on hard floors was not too bad, you know, half an hour or so. You know, at $150, I guess it works reasonably well. You've also got this swappable battery, which is a handy feature, and the ONEPWR system, that's kind of unique. It's something that some folks might be able to get some use out of. Longevity, well, we haven't had it long enough to be sure, but we did experience a few things that had us concerned. I mean, I don't know, I think that if you were to bump your budget up maybe to around the $200 range, I think there are some other alternatives out there that might give you a little bit better bang for your buck. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, please consider subscribing. Thanks very much for watching.